When players think of Mario Kart, comfort never rings a bell. Most people like to go into the game and play with a competitive mindset, but I, on the other hand, love to play with a comfort mindset. Fail a test, oversleep, or not be invited to a party? Don't worry. No matter how broken you feel, comfort characters always put people back together. They come in all shapes and sizes, from unicorn kitties to emperor penguins, so get out your blushes and let's see who's the comfiest of them all. Wendy. Just Wendy. AKA the one character that nobody plays. The only thing she really desires is power, and is the definition of chaotic evil whenever she's provoked. Yeah, you're definitely my least favorite Koopaling. Don't get excited just yet, Pink Gold Peach. The only reason you're not dead last is because there are at least some people who are willing to be your fans. I mean, Wendy can dance, sing, and skate, so that's some talent. You, on the other hand, are notorious for being the biggest abomination to come out of Nintendo's entire brain. Man, if I had $1 for the amount of times the internet has spent roasting her, I'd be rich. Villager is that one dude who seems like your friendly neighborhood Villy man on the surface, but believe me, he's anything but a friend. You can tell by the way he stares and steals that he has the disturbing persona of a cold-blooded killer. You can tell by his oh so evil grin that he's a menace in disguise, especially with that axe of his. Not to mention the amount of concussions that he's given people on Elite Smash for dropping bowling balls on their heads. Oh wait, that's Smash Bros. Sorry. Dry Bowser is somehow even more intimidating and fearsome than his brother, mostly because he's a freaking skeleton for crying out loud. Not only is his skin completely burnt off with soulless pupils, he's also the one guy who always comes out as the secret final boss and seems like the type of Halloween monster to always give you nightmares. No wonder why he's the hardest character to unlock in Mario Kart Wii. Baby Rosalina. Well, she's cute, I'll definitely give her that, but she breaks the lore. Case closed. Next up we have the Limbo Tier. These fellas aren't quite as naughty as the ones before them, but are still far from being comfort characters in their own right. Female Villager may be a silly girl unlike her brother, but don't let her cute appearance fool you. Believe me, she's the same old axe-wielding psychopath as before. But because she's female, I'll be nice to her and put her a tier above her chaotic brother. I hate to dunk on Morden like this, but he doesn't stand out to me and he would be dead last when it comes to being cute. And when compared to the rest of his Koopaling brethren, he seems bland and doesn't bring that much enthusiasm to the table. Pretty much everything he does is what another Koopaling can do way better. Next. Metal Mario is the definition of an awkward slowpoke. The fact that he speaks backwards compared to his normal counterpart really goes to show this. Come to think of it, he's just as much of a weirdo as Fregley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. As for his cousin Gold Mario, well, money and wearing rich, shiny clothes doesn't exactly make you more comfy, mate. Limbo for sure. Given the amount of chaos, terrorizing, and Mario napping that King Boo has taken part in, you would think that he would be a certified meanie. I mean, he's literally Luigi's biggest nightmare, so why wouldn't he be? Well, because he's a ghost of many talents. It's a miracle that he's able to drive without any legs, and he's also a really talented singer that could quite literally be in a choir. Not to mention that he's adorable, at least when he's not in his mansion attire. Long live the king! And of course, you can't have the king without his BFF, Petey Piranha. They're probably the best boss buds you can possibly think of, aka boss mates. And even though you fight him 99% of the time, at least he has a sense of humor whenever he plays sports. Oh, and just like with King Boo, I have no doubt in my mind that he can sing. Quite frankly, he should have been in Wonder alongside his Piranha brethren, for crying out loud. They would have made such a great music band. Where the heck am I supposed to put the Miis? Are they Neil Armstrong, Trollface, Chris Pratt, or even me? They can be anything and anyone, so who even knows how comfy they're supposed to be? Look, Peachette, I know you're cute and all, but I'd much rather see you transform back into Toadette, okay? But then again, given that she was responsible for creating certain memes we shall not talk about, this tier will more than suffice. Next up we have the OK tier, and OK just means okay. Pretty much all the characters in this tier are perfectly balanced between comfort and mean, as it should be. Growing up, I legit thought that Kamek was a girl. I mean, the dude literally dressed up as a pretty peachy princess, for crying out loud. So then, what's so comfortable about the Wicked Wizard of Mario, eh? Well, he's a great babysitter, especially since he literally adopted Bowser when he was just a baby and helped him in battle. Not to mention the fact that he takes good care of the Koopalings and is always there to save Junior whenever he gets his butt kicked. Talk about fatherhood. Oh, and whenever you play as him, he sounds incredibly adorable whenever he races. If King Boo can sing, Ludwig is the freaking composer. The fact that he leads his 6 bros and 1 sis into battle makes him a true leader, a big bro, and a soldier at that. He always loves to showcase his musical talent whenever he can, and his Beethoven hair really speaks for himself. Shout out to Ludwig. Ha. Roy's our boy and a certified Giga Chat at that. No, not you, stupid anime sword fighter. This Roy. This dude has a true tendency for brute strength, bronze over brains, looking cool as heck, and having the time of his life on the racetrack. He's the definition of awesome, and his sunglasses make him even more godlike. Come to think of it, he's basically Morden, but way better. And who can possibly forget about the cool little bromance he has going on behind the scenes? Given that Bowser is the main godforsaken villain of the entire franchise, attacks the Mushroom Kingdom, and specializes in peach napping, you would think that he would be dead last on the entire tier list. But you'd be wrong, mi amigo. He's incredibly hilarious, he simps for Peach all the time, and is incredibly sensitive as a person. Furthermore, he's not always alone, as he even gets along well with villains from other franchises like true BFFs. And despite his arch rivalry with Mario, he teams up with him plenty of times throughout the spin-offs and RPG games to face a bigger threat. Talk about frenemies. It's also really adorable to see Bowser proud as ever to be a dad, to the point where he cares so deeply for his own son. Speaking of which, okay, I know what you're thinking. How can a brat who impersonated Mario and got him imprisoned be this comfy? Well, one word, he's adorable. Seeing him run around in his clown car and other goofy contraptions that he made is such a fun sight to see. I mean, who can forget this badass childhood fight from New Super Mario Bros. Wii? Plus, he has by far the most wholesome father he could possibly ask for. Bowser cares about him so much, and vice versa. In fact, Junior cares about his papa so much, to the point where he was willing to work with Mario to put him back together. If that doesn't signal true loyalty, I don't know what does. Waluigi is the definition of a two-sided villain. He may be haughty on top, yes, but he's full of misery and self-pity on the inside. He's been excluded from Smash, wasn't in Mario Kart 7, and didn't appear in any games throughout 2023. For someone who is so funny, awkward, and entertaining as a character, You just can't help but feel bad for the dude. He just wants his time to shine and never ends up getting it. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure loads of online players would think otherwise, given their PTSD from the Waluigi Wiggler days. At this point, he's basically the Dr. Doofenshmirtz of the Mario franchise. Wario may seem like a jerk, who just wants you to have a rotten day, but trust me, he's way more than that. He's the kind of guy who decides to tag along with his arch rivals to gobble up some cake. He's the kind of guy who gets along like besties with his coworkers despite not treating them fairly. He's the guy who is always known for making the best of fart jokes and has a great sense of humor. And most importantly, he's freaking immortal. All in all, he's a true anti-hero, and that's exactly what makes him great. Not to mention the fact that he appears to be secret friends with Toadette. All Link does is grunt, yell, and scream, so pretty much no one can understand his true feelings and comfy attitude. But at the same time, you can't deny that all of his incarnations exhibit one key thing: bravery. I've never played a single Zelda game in my life, but given the fact that his adventures are long and he's always brave enough to save Hyrule from Ganon's evil tyranny, he definitely deserves to be commended. All hail to High Freaking Rule! Now, this may be a very controversial opinion of mine, but Luigi goes to the okay tier. And before you get your pitchforks out, let me explain. On paper, Luigi has a ton of comfy things to say about him. He's nice, he's brave, he's always willing to overcome and stand up to his own fears, and he has the most wholesome brotherly relationship you can possibly think of. This is seen very heavily across the Luigi's Mansion series, the Mario RPGs, and even the mainline Mario games. Not to mention all the nice things he says about his bro.
Yeah, he's my brother Mario, and he's the best guy in the world!
Had you asked me this a year ago, he would have almost certainly been in the top 10. So why the heck is he so unbelievably low? Well, it's mostly due to the fact that if you mess with him once in Mario Kart, it's Jover. Oh, and to top it all off, he's been brainwashed way too many times to count in the spin-offs. He's basically turned into the new bad cop at this point. Next up, we have the nice tier. This tier is really where we start heading into comfort territory, so buckle up, fellas. Tanuki Mario is a furry, and a cute one at that. He's the definition of huggable, and to top it all off, he was my original go-to main in Mario Kart 8. Kudos to you, Mr. Raccoon Head. Cat Peach is literally yin and yang with Tanuki Mario. Both furries, both cuddly, and both sides of the same coin and same ship. No wonder why they were added together as DLC way back when. Meow. Oh boy, it's time to begin the baby trend. Starting with none other than the infant tomboy herself. She may be young, but that doesn't stop her from being as energetic and sassy as her mommy. And yeah, her crying can get annoying, but come on, she's just a baby. Oh, and the statues of her dancing with baby Luigi? Don't even get me started on how cute those are. Just like her mother, baby Peach is cute. Whenever you see her on the racetrack, she always bursts with joy and happiness. But racing baby Mario isn't the only thing she's got. Seeing her having fun with all the other babies during Partners in Time and Yoshi's Island DS? Wholesome. But seeing the Toads raise her during the flashback scene in the Mario movie? Even more adorable! Baby Mario is once again cute. Even as an infant, he still has the capabilities of racing and going on adventures to save the world, and that's admirable in its own right. He and baby Luigi work the best together, and the fact that he's willing to stand up for his own bro when he's getting bullied? Yeah, you definitely belong in the nice tier, bud. And speaking of baby Luigi, out of all the babies, he is probably the most adorable of the bunch and definitely my favorite. He may be shy and anxious, but that's all the more reasons for why he deserves a hug. He cares about his bros so much to the point where they're true partners. Not to mention the fact that the relationships between the babies and their older selves in Partners in Time are just like father and son. Aw man, this is getting way too wholesome. Even though Lakitu can be annoying with his spiky balls, sometimes he rewards you with the ultimate jackpot, coins. And a toad? Oh, and also, without Lakitu, there would be no Mario Kart. Sure, he was a literal slowpoke in previous Mario Kart games, but come on, you gotta thank him for doing his job. He's always there to save your butt every time you fall and make a mistake. Not to mention the fact that he's the reason why Super Mario 64 even exists on camera. The only thing that the Inklings can do is shoot paint everywhere and Woomy and Booyah their way to victory. But that's them at their best, being a squid and being a kid. They are the definition of siblings at their best, are so athletic, and definitely relatable to anyone participating on school sports teams. Just don't pour water on them, of course. Birdo deserves all the credit she can get. She's so underappreciated by anyone not named Vernius. And if there's one thing you can never forget about her, it's the fact that she becomes your literal mom. Not only that, I just love seeing her as trans, and you just gotta love the way she blows her kisses. In my mind, she and Yoshi are definitely engaged, and there's no way I'll ever unsee it. Larry is the youngest of the Koopalings and one of the most comfy. Unlike his burly and strong older brothers, he's just so charming and innocent. He's also a jack of all trades, from looking incredibly good in Christmas clothes to being incredibly skilled at horseback riding. Oh, and did I forget he's a freaking DJ? Iggy would be so awesome as not a class clown, but the class clown. He's such a silly goober to the point where his dog takes him on a walk, he creates cartoonish monsters in science class, and acts so wacky and crazy whenever he races. Not to mention the fact that he has glasses, and glasses are almost always associated with nerds. And to top it all off, the dude can't go 10 seconds without laughing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Friends tier. This tier is filled with characters that are so comfy and adorable to the point where they come off as a true friend. Oh, and let's make it clear just how much these comfort characters really punch above their weight. Out of all the Koopalings, Lemmy is the definition of comfy and adorable. I mean, just look at him. He bounces around most of the time, plays with his big ball collection, and has such a childish and energetic personality. Oh, and given his colorful hair and magical balls, I have no doubt in my mind that he's probably even more of a trickster than Iggy at this point. Drybones may be a skeleton just like his papa, but that doesn't stop him from being adorable. Despite getting stomped on and broken apart on a daily basis, he always puts himself back together to fight another day. And because he's literally immune to lava, it goes to show how being hurt will only make you all the more stronger. While Bowser does have a history of being frenemies with Mario, DK is that one guy who always goes from enemies to lovers on a daily freaking basis. One minute he'll be fighting like hell over stealing overpriced amiibos, and the next minute, he'll be your best bro. He's so willing to protect his family and bananas to the point where he's brave enough to face a croc twice his size. Oh, and if you thought Bowser had a weird sense of humor, well, you ain't seen nothing yet, pal. If there's any one quote that sums up the Donkey Dude best, it is hands down this one.
You got the cat box!
Now you die.
Unlike her two psychotic colleagues, Isabelle is the definition of a sweetie pie. As secretary, she always breaks the fourth wall and pretty much does everything she possibly can to cheer you up and get you on the right track. She may be the nerd, but without her, you wouldn't even be able to craft a village. Not to mention the fact that she's a freaking dog, and a talking dog at that. While Koopa does spend the vast majority of his time being tossed around and used for infinite one-up tricks, he has other talents too, you know. He's good at being a minigame host, good at raising money for charity, and has a friendly rivalry when it comes to racing. He's so fun and joyful to the point where he's willing to give you all the encouragement necessary to succeed in Mario Party. Oh, and let's not forget about his singing skills, shall we? He may be a shy guy, but that doesn't stop him from being adorable. His voice is basic but cute, and just like with Meta Knight, he wouldn't be complete without a mask. And him being shy doesn't mean he's not willing to go out there and give it his all. I think the Mario Kart 7 manual says it best. He may be hiding behind a red robe and mask, but Shy Guy really loves to show off his love of racing. And just like with all the other enemies we've covered throughout this list, he has amazing singing skills. Wiggler is that one guy in the room that is not only a cutie, but excels by defying the laws of physics. He's able to play golf, excel at roller skating, and can drive on himself despite the fact that he's a caterpillar, for crying out loud. Talk about talent. And even when he loses, he's still a good sport about it. As long as I don't accidentally jump on him, I would definitely love to play all kinds of sports with this dude. Given all that Yoshi did for Mario as a baby, he could truly count as Mario's godfather. Without him, Mario and Luigi wouldn't have a childhood, nor a plumbing career. They'd be Bowser and Kamek's slaves, for crying out loud. And of course, we can't possibly forget about the fact that he serves as Mario's Uber driver, even when he's an elephant. Sure, it's annoying to constantly see the Japanese players using him on the racetrack, but at least the Yoshi meta is a million times more balanced compared to the Walla Wiggler meta. And besides, seeing Yoshi drive and ride on himself is the definition of fun and hilarious. Diddy Kong is DK's most loyal sidekick and BFF for life. He's gone on so many adventures, sleepovers, races, and quite literally everything with his big buddy. He also handstands, banana throws, and is so goofy to the point where he's the silly goober of Donkey Kong Island. Quite frankly, who wouldn't want a best friend like Diddy? He's so lighthearted and adorable to the point where he has his own racing game, for crying out loud. Jump up, superstar! No one else could make it this far! Let's do the Odyssey! Need I say more for your one-up girl? Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially reached the top. The characters in this tier not only meet the comfy expectations, but exceed it in more ways than one. In fact, they are so comfortable to the point where, in my opinion, they are the true definition of comfort characters. They not only hold a special place in Mario Kart, but they will always hold a special place in my own heart. Rosalina is quite literally the mother that everyone had when they played Mario Galaxy as a kid. Her entire spaceship is a safe haven for all the Lumas she looks after and always desires to keep the universe at peace. But being a mother and a goddess isn't the only thing she's got up her sleeve. I mean, just look at what she went through growing up. She lost everything as a child, has the most depressing backstory out of any Mario character, yet she continues to persevere to this day and always has fun on the racetrack. Talk about resilience. And because her entire backstory is nothing short of a tragedy, she'll always remain a shining beacon for those who are struggling. Sure, Mario might not be perfect, but that doesn't stop him from being both famous and especially a comfort character. He's always willing to help out everyone and everything, from Luigi to Peach to Yoshi and even his biggest adversaries. And the Mario movie really made me view Mario in a completely new way too. The movie did an amazing job with Mario, showing that while he may get beaten to the ground plenty of times and viewed as a joke, he doesn't know when to quit and never quits. It is because of that he always gives me the determination to keep grinding towards my precious dreams. But the best thing about him, the fact that he's quite arguably flirted and crushed on so many women throughout the years, to the point where even Toadette had a crush on him. Talk about a wet dream. Toad is the definition of an unsung hero. He may exhibit a frightful personality, but deep down, he always has what it takes to be a brave one. He's always there to adventure with Mario as his BFF, protect Princess Peach, and most importantly, he's a freaking captain. Da 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 da. If that's not brave enough, I don't know what is. Plus, he's cute and is literally a part of the best duo ever. Funky Kong is the definition of funky. No, like, literally. He always has the time of his life on the racetrack, comes up with the most hilarious of nicknames, and is a freaking surfer for crying out loud. I'm proud to say that I'm one of the few people who like him not because he's the face of Mario Kart Wii, but because he's Funky freaking Kong, baby! And of course, out of all the characters in the game, his personality is so happy and contagious to the point where his screams are the definition of iconic. Daisy is a happy princess and sassy tomboy put together. There's so many godforsaken things to like about this chick. She loves shopping, she's so caring to her friends, and her relationship with Luigi is so adorable. And because she's a tomboy, she's so into playing sports and athleticism in general, making her one heck of a formidable striker. I'm 99.9% positive she would kick my butt if I were to face her one-on-one in, say, arm wrestling for instance, but I'd still have fun nonetheless. At the same time, however, she's always a show-off whenever she wins, and if you mess with her, well, that's a huge slap in the face. But regardless, Daisy is so energetic to the point where so many people crush on her, and she always gives off big sister vibes every single time I play her. Peach is the definition of sweet and beautiful. While she does have a turbulent history of getting kidnapped every weekend, she's been stepping up her game a heck of a lot recently. Whenever her friends are feeling down and upset, she's always willing to use her healing abilities to make them feel better. In the sport games, she's one of the most enjoyable characters to play as, especially in a biker outfit. And most importantly, she's become so much of a badass in recent times, to the point where she's finally getting her own game again for crying out loud. Not only that, the fact that she's willing to party with Bowser and team up with him during Mario RPG really goes to show how forgiving she is to even her biggest enemies. Oh, and her relationship with Mario in the movies and games? It's so adorable I can't handle it! Quite frankly, this girl is truly on fire. And finally, the most comfy character out of them all is none other than... Toadette. More like cutette. I mean, was this one really a surprise? It's probably the biggest no-brainer you could possibly think of, and to prove my point, I'll rant on and on about her in under a minute. Ready, set, go! Toadette is so cute to the point where even young girls love this character. And speaking of boys and girls, her and Toad are so perfect together to the point where they're true shroommates. And all of her outfits in Mario Kart Tour make her even more adorable. She's so smart to the point where she's built paper machines and became Commander-in-Chief. Frankly, she's on Hermione level intelligence right here. Oh, and the fact that she always speaks to Mario with hearts and says they're a perfect team definitely has a crush on him, not gonna lie. She was built to be a girl and a silly, adorable goober at that. But with all that said, regardless of how low or high your main is on the tier list, as long as you remain fiercely attached to them, they can still be a comfort character in your mind. No matter how hard life can get, they're always able to put you back together to fight another day. After all, Mario Kart isn't always about winning a race or fierce competition. Sometimes it's about smiles and rainbows, and comfort is exactly that.